Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. And I'm joined today with my dog, Louie. Now, I know he just looked at me. Hi, Louie. Say hello to everybody out there in the interview land. Louie is a 1.5-year-old Pomeranian, and you're saying to yourself, has Andy Jacob, the CEO of DotCom Magazine, just gone crazy? Why would he have a dog on the show? And the reason why is because we have an amazing show today, and it has to do with dogs and other animals. We've been able to invite back Miss Andrea Nerep, the founder and CEO of the free social app for pets called Petzbe. And you've probably heard of it. It's really taking over the world. Everybody's on it. Everybody that has animals loves it. I mean, it's incredible. It's super cool. It's a social networking app created by pets for pets. Now, Andrea's not a pet and Chelsea's not a pet, so I don't know why it says by pets for pets, but that's what it says. So I'm going with it. But I know the reason why is because one of the helpers at Petzbe is one of Andrea's tiniest CEO in the world, her fearless leader, Brussels Griffin. And that's Louie beeping during the interview, which is something unusual. He beeps when he's excited. So anyway, listen, I am so excited to have Andrea Nerep and her director of growth, Miss Chelsea Rose Williams, on the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today. We're going to talk about Petzbe. That was kind of a crazy intro, but let's get into it. Andrea, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be back.
This is great to have you on the show. You're the CEO and founder of Petzbe, the free social app just for pets. It's really awesome to have you back on the show again. Before we get to Chelsea, which I've got so many questions for Chelsea, Andrea, let's pull the lens back to 30,000 feet and just tell us about Petzbe.
So Petzbe, it's a very pet-focused community where you share your pet's life from the perspective of the pet. And that's essentially what creates this amazing, loving, positive community, because when you pretend to be your pet, you become very nice and loving and you don't really hold any judgments. We don't talk about politics. We don't discuss any, human drama or anything. And it has a lot of app features that allows you to get very creative from the pet perspective as well. So
I love it. It's so fun and it's so exciting. And the people that come on the platform absolutely love it. And we want to talk today from an entrepreneurial standpoint, talking about what's happening on the platform, because you have what entrepreneurs really, really want and they crave is they want to have an explosive platform, and you've got it. And now the question becomes, how do you keep up with that user experience? So I want to welcome Chelsea Williams to the show. Chelsea is the director of growth. Chelsea, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I love the interview you did previously with Andrea, and I was super excited to join her today for this one. So that was awesome. It was a great listen.
Well, thank you. And it's great to have you. So many people are coming on the app, and I know Andrea and you, Chelsea, are so in tune with making sure that user experience stays world class. So as you build this platform, because obviously you're the director of growth and it's growing gangbusters, so congratulations, because you're doing what your title says. How do you make sure that the user experience stays as good as it was, when you first started out?
A huge part of that is we have 10 amazing community managers, and they work round the clock. They're always making sure that they keep the community safe. We're super blessed to have them. They're amazing. And they're always, writing to us to make sure that we can keep it positive. And, we make decisions as a group so that we make sure, because we want people to feel like they can express themselves while also protecting the community and keeping it, like I said, safe and, the beautiful beautiful, loving community that it is and that it's become. So they're a huge part of it. We're super thankful for them. We talk about that all the time. But yeah, so that's they're huge for that. And then another part of it is just recognizing our users and posting about them. We make a lot of content. Either it'll be content I've made or the team has made or our users have made. A lot of the things that we post and share it's user generated content. And I get super proud whenever I see, I never knew what a French bulldog in Portugal was doing before Petzbe. You don't get as close of an experience on Instagram or other social platforms. And it's curated, it's niche in the way that it's just pets. And if their humans are with them, the pets have to be with them in the photo. And our community is very, passionate about that, or passionate, as I say. But so yeah, that's, I guess, a long story short answer. But yeah.
I love it, Chelsea, so much. I want to stay with you, Chelsea, just for a minute. Then I'll bounce back to Andrea. So Chelsea, first of all, you said a very funny phrase with using the paw in the phrase. Is that something that happens all the time at Petzbe, where you try and think of funny things and funny words and funny names that have to do with animals?
Yes, that's a huge part of my job. And Andrea's, we're always laughing because sometimes our conversations, to us, they'll be serious, but anybody who is listening would be like, what are these two, women talking about? It's very silly. I'm very grateful that that's my job. When I get to tell people what I do, it makes me excited, and to see their face, and it makes me proud to show them Petzbe, and, to actually have an app in a community and be like, yeah, look at this, this teenager in Brazil who makes this amazing content of her Pomeranians. And, it's all very cute and exciting. So yeah, I do a lot of pet puns. I'm a professional at pet puns. So
a professional pet punner. I can't say that 3 times fast enough, Chelsea.
Exactly.
Well, that's really great. And listen, like I was mentioning earlier on, people put out an app and they believe that they're going to get that hockey stick growth curve, and they believe that they're going to get so much stickiness on the app, and very few pull it off. And in your particular case, it's been pulled off, and it's been pulled off very well. So now you're in the position where you have to keep up with it to make sure that the user growth and the experience stay aligned, which is very important. So Andrea, let's go back to you as the founder and CEO of Petzbe, because obviously it's a super fun application. So many people love it. You've got the people that sort of watch it, the 10 specialists that you've hired to make sure that it's a great, fun experience, Andrea. When you think about the thing that's causing you maybe a sleepless night or two, Andrea, as the CEO or founder of this wonderful app, what's the one thing that maybe keeps you up at night as an entrepreneur right now?
Oh, one thing that would keep me up. I don't think there is much that keeps me up at night, to be honest. I think I'm confident in the way that we're going, and I also allow for mistakes without going crazy about it, because that's a natural part of the process. So if there's something that's happening, I'm just know that we will fix it, and I'm confident in that. And then I also believe that everyone needs a good night's sleep. So if you can, try to have a good night's sleep. But if you say what motivates me and what I care the most about is the community experience, because the users is the most important thing that we have, of course. So
of course, and I love it. And you, Andrea, obviously have been able to develop a very nice friendship with Chelsea since starting this application. And of course, you've received media attention all over the country, all over the world, from Wired, Good Morning America, Wall Street Journal, other major outlets, of course, DotCom magazine. I have to throw that in as well. But you and Chelsea have sort of bonded over your mutual admiration for not only animals, but your mutual admiration about business. And that's very exciting, Andrea. So when you think about your team, what comes through on the application is not only do you like to have fun, but you like to have a great experience. So when you were thinking about putting the app together early on, Andrea, and you told me in our last interview that, you never did an app before, you bumbled through it a little bit, you figured it out, and boom, you finally came out the other end with something beautiful that you continue to make great every single day to handle all the increased users that you have. When you think about the journey that you've had as an entrepreneur, what's the one thing that surprises you about being an entrepreneur with a successful application? Is there one thing that's more surprising than anything else along your journey?
That's a very good question. I think what surprises me the most is what a school it is for your personal character, not only for business, but you really, really have to take a look at yourself in so many instances, and you have to do things that you're not comfortable with doing at all sometimes. And it's really about figuring out who to hire and who you can have to join your team to really make up for the weaknesses that you have. And I think Chelsea is so brilliant for that. Chelsea and I are very different in so many ways, and we have very different perspective on things, but she will go to war to prove me like this is my vision. And I think that, she will continue to discuss it. And eventually we'll come up with something great together because of our different, viewpoints on something. And that's one of my many favorite things about her, because she will tell me when I'm wrong, or she will sometimes be like, Andrea, I have a bigger vision for this company than you have, because I see this and this. And I'm like, okay, that's a low blow, baby, but whatever. She's really great.
I love it. I love it. That's such a great attitude. And we hear that all the time, Andrea and Chelsea, from the world's greatest entrepreneurs that we have on the show, is that if you only surround yourself with people that are going to tell you what they think you want to hear, you really can't build a great company. So this sort of back and forth between you and Chelsea really only works to make the process and the platform better for the users. And all great entrepreneurs really should learn from what Andrea just said. Rewind the tape, because you want people to give you some pushback. You want people that you trust to give you that kind of pushback so that you ultimately can come and make a great decision. Now, Chelsea, I want to bounce back to you for a little bit, because obviously your users not only love their pets, but they go as far as pretending to be their pets. I mean, it's super fun. It's a supportive community, and it's just so much fun. Now, I want to talk to you, Chelsea, because I had a chance to get a tin from Andrea. She sent me some samples of this salmon treat that you now have for your pet owners or for your pet participants' pets. My dog went crazy. I mean, frankly, I didn't tell Andrea this, but I had to take the salmon treats away from Louis because he loved them so much. He became like a different dog. So are things like that part of your job, Chelsea, to bring that into the fold with what you're doing at Petzbe?
Yeah, the interesting thing is the salmon breath mints, that was a innovation that Andrea had come up with. And I was like, that's so funny. It was brilliant. Because we were going back and forth about something that both cats and dogs could enjoy. And so, which there aren't that many treats that can kind of be, like transfer pet like that. But all of my pets tried them previously, and we did a lot of sampling and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of my job is to then make sure that we can apply it to, I have 11 animals of my own. So it's applying all of the, concepts, ideas, and things we have to my actual pets and what I know about animals to make sure that it actually fits the market. It fits what's happening in the pet industry right now. All of that stuff, is super important. And that's one of the reasons it's great that, Andrea and I have such a free dialogue, because we can go back and forth about this stuff until we actually, like she said, find a real solution and find what we need to do, because that's just imperative in what we're doing, because we have such big ambitions.
I love it. And your big ambitions are going to happen. There's no doubt about it. And one reason why they're going to happen, and I'll bounce back to Andrea for a minute, is because you're very charitable, and you get to so many charities. You kind of walk the walk and talk the talk, and you donate money to animal causes, and you're your members on your platform, your community really appreciates that so much. And one thing that really resonates for me is you understand how animals, Andrea, can have a real positive impact on the overall happiness of a person. And for me and my wife as well, I mean, we love our dog. We've always had animals. I've had dogs growing up since I've been a child. And of course, you've got Angus, the CEO, the co-CEO of the company, I guess. And it's really interesting how animals can bring so much happiness to your life. So Andrea, I'll bounce to you for a minute. So when you think about all the people in the community, what does it make you feel like knowing that, they get done coming on your platform, they post some pictures, they have some great, interactions with other animal lovers, and it makes them feel good. It gives them a positive impact. It gives them a positive mental attitude. What's that feel like positively impacting so many people's brains through your application, Andrea?
It's the best, absolutely the best feeling, because when you can build a business but knowing that it's actually has made someone happier. I get so many amazing emails from users saying that Petzbe has been life-changing, or it's been such a relief, or even, help them through depression and anxiety, where they can just connect through something so simple as the love for their pet, and nothing else exists but that on the platform. It's the best feeling. It's so cute, and I get so proud of the community every time I go on the app to just see how supportive they are. And there was one pet who needed surgery, and it was quite an expensive surgery, $2,500, and she couldn't afford it. And she made a little GoFundMe, and it only took 2 hours. And then she raised the money for her surgery on the Petzbe.
Wow.
Because users go in and maybe they put $5 or $20, and it's really, they're so supportive. It's really great.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it so much. Don't mess with people and their pets on Petzbe. It's unbelievable. Now, Chelsea, let's talk about entrepreneurship just a little bit, because, you have such an important role in the success of what's happening at Petzbe as the director of growth. And there's going to be people watching the show that have an app or have some type of offering that they're trying to get off the ground, or that they're maybe even struggling with a little bit. And maybe you could give some words of advice to the people that are trying to grow their particular applications on maybe what they need to focus and concentrate on to get where they want to go, like you and Andrea have been able to get to where you want to go. And I'm not saying you're at the end of your journey, because this is just beginning for Petzbe. And I know world domination is where you both want to take it and will take it. But what kind of advice do you have for entrepreneurs sort of setting their sights on some big goals?
I'm really lucky because I come from a family of a lot of entrepreneurs. My mom, she's an independent filmmaker, and she has always inspired me to go, and take my own path, and supported that, and supported me in the arts. And my dad as well, he's in the ice cream industry, and he has his own company. And, like his father created a company in Puerto Rico, and, they brought, like, him and his brothers brought ice cream product, like real ice cream product, to the Caribbean, because before it was just powdered product. And, what they always told me is it's just, you can't give up no matter what, especially my mom. She never gives up. She keeps going no matter what. And I tell, Andrea this because we both have that attitude, but sometimes it's like when you've created something like Andrea has and it's like you're so close to it, you almost can't see the true huge vision and potential of like this incredible thing that you've made and created. And that's what I'm always reminding her of. And I think of that as definitely a huge part of my role, is just I see this big vision. I see what's happening. And when you're a big picture thinker, you have to just keep going. And every day, slowly but surely is my motto. It's like, I'm the little turtle. I'm always going still, it never stops. And we'll take a break. You want to take breaks and you want to take care of yourself. And I do dance classes and yoga and try to stretch and drink enough water. That's a huge that's like those good habits are imperative, in becoming an entrepreneur and choosing this lifestyle. But it's just keep believing in yourself, keep going, be honest with yourself, don't give up, slowly but surely. That's it. I tell a lot of entrepreneurs that all the time. Just keep going.
I love it, Chelsea. It's great advice. And of course, you said you were like a slow little turtle, and that one didn't, go over my head. Every single thing that we talk about has an animal, experience in it, which I love. And that really is sort of the passion that you and Andrea have for what you do. And you just can't get yourself out of it. When you're so in business, you can't get out. Mm-hmm. And you and Andrea are perfect examples of people that are in business. So even in your vernacular, even in your talking points, even when you're having meals with friends or talking on the phone or out and about, I'm sure so many different things come up where you have pet sayings, and it's just kind of fun and interesting. And that's the way business should be. When you're in business, you have to be in it. Now, Andrea, you've been able to put together a real great team. And this is one of the top social networking apps that have been created. And for pets, by pets, with pet words and pet mints, and everything is pets, and I love it. So when we think about the future, I mean, there's something like 300 million dogs in America. They're just in dogs, and then there's all the rest of the countries, and then there's all the other animals. So when you're thinking about how big you're going to take Petzbe, of course, with Chelsea's, expertise in helping, to guide the growth of it, how do you deal with the platform? Do you have a technological group that sort of is thinking about all of the new people that are going to be coming, Andrea, and how you scale it from a cloud-based, platform-based type of a situation, or are they outsiders that you brought in to consult with you?
Well, when it comes to, you have to have some kind of consulting in beginning, but each app acts so differently. So you will have each problem is unique for each application, and it's really is as you go along, you will learn. But I think one person once told me that you don't want to grow too quickly in the beginning because you need to keep up with growth. And of course, I didn't listen. Because I was like, no, I want to grow quickly. That's what everyone says that you should be doing. And then in retrospect, I'm like, I should have listened, because it comes in, you take off ads for a while, you maintain, you manage it, and then you can restart it again. But you can have millions of users, but if they're not active and if they're not enjoying the community experience, then it doesn't really mean anything. You have to stay true to the core values and the purpose of why you created the app, to make sure that the users are happy.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Andrea. That makes all the sense in the world. And I was just thinking about sort of your initial journey when you put out a minimal viable product, and that's how you sort of got it started. So any entrepreneurs watching the show that want to learn more about the journey, we have Andrea's initial interview with us up online. It's very, very interesting to listen to her initial journey about the steps and the missteps at the early stages of building this wonderful social application for pets, and the way in which she put out a minimal viable product and then scaled it from there. So Chelsea, let me bounce back to you just for a minute, because it's very interesting when you go on the application and you see the kind of engagement that you get. It seems like it's a very sticky, they used to call it sticky, I'm not sure if we call it sticky anymore, sticky app. So what's the secret behind making it such a sticky app, Chelsea?
It's a lot of hard work. It's what I call the truth of growth marketing. It's every little tiny piece of the user experience. And Andrea is super passionate about this. And this is one thing that we completely see eye to eye on is, keeping this user experience amazing, making sure that we recognize our users, making sure that we're thankful for them, making sure that if they email us or reach out to us about any issues, and, responding to app reviews, and just like basically being there, being available is a huge part of it. And that's in every part of it, like every platform. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're there for them to reach out to us if we need it. Andrea has sent some of the early Petzbe users gifts in the mail for their grandchildren. And it's so inspiring when we get people and users in the community who they say the impact that we have on them, like doing this job. And that to me is one of the most rewarding things, because one of my main goals in my life is to make social media spaces where people can feel authentic and, be the good side of the double-edged sword that digital spaces can be. And also, since, pets have such an incredible impact on our mental health, and they're a tie to the real world, I love that it's a mix of the virtual world and the real world, and it's making connections, but it's something that kind of keeps you rooted in your life. I think people can feel that we really care about it, and we care about them, and we care about, our user experience. And Andrea and I are always, one of the biggest things is when we tell people about the app, or I have my friends or family or anybody download it, is I'm like, please, any feedback you have, good or bad, let us know. It's because there's nothing personal in it. There's no ego. If they don't like something about the user experience, it's about streamlining that and making the app as agile as possible, and making that experience truly, something that's enjoyable for them. And we constantly are making sure that, like, other experiences that we deal with in other apps that we don't personally identify with or like, that we make sure that experience is not ever replicated in Petzbe. So a lot of that stuff, I think, is what is the reason why it's so sticky, and it's still called stickiness. So you're right. I
love it. Good. I love it, Chelsea. It makes all the sense in the world. You've done such a remarkable job. One thing that really comes to mind that Andrea and I spoke about in our first conversation was how you listen to the people on the platform. And everything you do resonates with high quality, whether it's the user experience, even, for example, receiving the salmon treats that I received. They came in such a beautiful package. The tins that came were absolutely of the highest quality. And when I opened up the box, I said to myself, wow, these people, these gals are really, really doing it right, because it's such a high quality offering. And what made it even better is a lot of times you buy something and what's inside the package doesn't really resonate. It doesn't work, or it's less than what you expected. But what was in the package was unbelievable. I mean, my dog absolutely went crazy over the salmon treats. It was really remarkable. Andrea, let's bounce back to you just for a minute. Again, thank you both for all of your time. I know you're both working hard to make sure that the platform and the user experience and the growth is continuing on for what you're doing at Petzbe. But Andrea, one thing that really was important in our first conversation that I want to bring up again was what your belief is regarding the importance of listening to the community. And I think in other communities and in other applications, maybe that's fallen by the wayside, and maybe that's why they're not as successful. But maybe you could hit on that again for the entrepreneurs watching the show, Andrea, about how important it is to really listen to the community and listen to your customers.
I mean, it's everything, because they are the one who will shape your business. It's not you put something out there as an app, but you can never in advance predict what they will love, how they will use it, and how they're going to engage. So you really have to stay so focused and see, okay, what's going on here? You have to have streamlined process on how you analyze behaviors as well. And to make sure that you shape your business after them and not the other way around. And it's essential, because if you're looking to build a community, that's psychology. Like, that's how do you motivate someone to do something? What do you do for someone to come back or feel happy? It's all about making someone feel something. And I think recognition is the most important in this aspect, to making someone feel recognized. Because if someone puts something out there and they get no response to it, they're not going to be motivated to come back. And I think with the community, we also kind of, in a way, we taught them that this is the place to be extremely loving. Because I remember when I just had launched the app, and I would put on, my alarm 1 hour every night to wake up, just to make sure that everything in the community was good. I was alone at the company at the time, and I was constantly on the app commenting from Angus' account and interacting with users and making sure they had a great experience. Of course, with the growth, I wasn't able to do that alone anymore, and I had put systems in place. But you can't just let people into an app and then just expect them to have a great experience. Mm-hmm. That's like if someone would come into a restaurant and you just leave them there. It's like, no service, nothing. You have to make sure that they have a great experience. Your app itself can be the best developed app in the world, but the app itself is not going to do it. You have to do more than that.
Exactly.
I love it. It's so baseline. It's so important. It's so basic in terms of feeling and loving your customer, but that basic component is missing all around the application store. It's missing all around the web. It's missing in so many companies. And so you've encompassed something that's really the key, which is taking care of your customers, listening to your customers, and giving them what they want, which is absolutely beautiful. The other thing, Chelsea, that comes to mind, and again, I'm keeping you a little over your time, so pardon me. The other thing that comes to mind is I look at Petzbe as what I call a safe space. There's so much online that could be dark. There's so much online that could be hurtful. There's so much online that could be controversial. There's so much online that, so many haters and so many things going on social platforms, that I look at Petzbe as being a place where you go with your animal, you go on that space, you feel great. It's sort of like judgment free. You don't have to deal with the haters. You don't have to deal with the other dark forces all in the rest of the web. And you come here and you have a beautiful experience that's filled with a lot of light and a lot of love. Is that part of the reason why you're seeing this success, Chelsea, in your opinion?
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I think it's another reason that it resonates with one of our main demographics, which is, younger people, because I think they've grown up and, with these social media platforms and access to phones so young that they're looking for places that are protected, are safe spaces, because, as much as a lot of the platforms try and, they do their best, protecting that safe space. And that's one of the reasons that, making sure we don't grow too quickly was a big priority, so that we could always protect that safe space. And I think that is, they know when they come what to expect on Petzbe. And like Andrea said, we've trained our community to know what's important and, know that on Petzbe they can go and feel good and happy about what they're sharing. And even if it's, one of my favorite things about Petzbe, and this is something my fiance mentioned actually, but he was saying, it's so cute how it's, a lot of it is not polished. It's like what people just want to share in that moment. And on so many social media platforms, you see this polished, curated view, and people want to see, the behind the scenes. They want to see the actual, just whatever photo it is, and one of my favorite things about Petzbe is there might be 9 photos in a row of a cat that's blurry, and I'm like, that cat would have taken those photos like that. They're like, I look great from this angle and this angle and this angle, and it's hilarious because you actually see, they become these personalities that they are in real life. And it gives people a creative outlet. It gives people an outlet to be kind. It gives people an outlet to relax. So yeah, I think all of those, are factors in why people, they know what to expect when they come to Petzbe. And it makes me proud when I see that it helps somebody's mental health. It helps somebody feel like relaxed in a digital space. And I think that it's something that, you know, as we continue to achieve it, it will inspire hopefully other platforms to, you know, protect those spaces and, you know, keep things on a positive note. And, you know, on Petzbe, people still talk about real issues, or they'll say their owner is feeling sad because they lost their friend. And, or, you know, there's still real stuff happening there. There's real engagement, real stories, but it's through a lens of animals, which is just always a more beautiful lens, no matter what, you know, than people. Even I love people too, but with pets, it's, you know, it's just pure.
I love it. You know, and you mentioned the cat would have taken the photos of itself a little blurry. I'm sure Angus would only be taking pictures of himself in a tuxedo with a cigar and a glass of champagne,
Yes,
right, Andrea?
Definitely. Oh, so handsome.
Okay, Chelsea, I have to say goodbye to both of you separately. So, Chelsea, before I move on to Andrea, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the show. What you're doing as the director of growth is really impressive. There's so much to learn from you, from your attitude, from your approach, and it's really a breath of fresh air and very enlightening to have you on the show to share the way in which you think, the way in which you approach it, the way in which your love of animals and people shines through, and it's very remarkable. And thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Really, this was great and super fun talking to you and answering the questions. So thanks so much. I love the first interview, and this one is great too. So I look forward to the future of us chatting with you. Thank you so much.
Andrea, you're a rock star. Let's keep it going. I know you've got some big things on the slate, and I can't wait to talk to you more about them. And thank you so much for coming on the Entrepreneur Spotlight series today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me.